Hello and welcome to Working with Miniatures. I'm Jim, and tonight we're going to be painting Driss the Dryad from the Reaper Miniatures Dark Heaven Bones line. This is not to be confused with Driss the Elven Dryad from the Reaper Miniatures Warlord line, which is metal. We'll primarily be using Army Painter speed paints and war paints. Let's get to it. This miniature was primed with an airbrush using Vallejo's black primer, followed by zenithal sprays of gray and then white primers. Once the primers have dried, I head inside and start applying various speed paints, starting at the top with the lighter paints and working my way down to the darker ones. I envisioned this to be a dryad who dwells within a dying swamp, so I chose green and browns as my primary colors. I take a break here and let the speed paints dry before coming back with brief passes of black and brown washes in the lower and deeper recesses, and working my way back to the top, ending with a lighter tone of wash. From here I didn't really keep track of the colors I used very well, and some I used everywhere. The idea was to make the dryad blend in, but still stand out from the tree just a little. Also, I have cut many trees down in the last few years, so I wanted the tree to vary as well. One section of a tree can appear healthy, while another large section can be dead and brittle. For the most part, I stuck with darker highlights and shades in the darker areas, and lighter highlights towards the top. I try to chart out the colors I use towards the end, but I'll be honest, it's not exact, but you kind of get an idea of what I was trying to do. There's still a lot of going back and forth with shades and highlights. The flesh and upper areas of the highest branches have more green than the lower areas. I was picturing noxious vapors of swamp gas hovering overhead, and the sunlight that filtered through casting a sickly hue over the environment. This is where I ended with speed paints, washes, and some layer highlights. A year ago I would have stopped here, but I wanted to try some oil washes and blend them over, much like I did the speed paints at the start. I take a little bit of each of the colors, shown a moment ago, and then thin them with mineral spirits. Notice I don't put the paint all the way down into the bottom of the palette reservoir, as I only need a little bit of the actual paint, since I'm only painting one figure. The vibrant green and yellow especially added a much needed boost in color and greatly improved the look of the miniature. I let the oil wash dry for about 15 minutes and then come back with Q-tips lightly moistened with mineral spirits and slowly wipe away the raised areas. A viewer by the name of I Hate Onions mentioned how he had added highlights after oil washes, so even though I had already added highlights previously, I decided to come back and add some more. I did not regret doing so, especially on the face, as it improved the contrast by a great deal. I reapplied the brightest highlights on the upper areas or where light would catch the most, and then dry brush a duller highlight over the lower areas and base. Everything I used for this miniature, including the base, will be shown shortly. For the final step, I painted some actual nipples and hit the base edge with thin down matte black and call it a night. For lessons learned, I used Q-tips on the model to remove some of the oil washes, and that was easy enough, but removing all of the loose cotton fibers afterwards took about half an hour. This model has a lot of small pointed areas, making it difficult to remove those fibers. In the future, I'll try using small makeup sponges instead. That's going to wrap it up for today. I hope you learned something or inspired to start or expand your own collection. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And if you like the content of this video and would like to see more, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm Jim with Working with Miniatures. I'm truly grateful for your time, and I bid you a fond farewell. Till the next video. Stop screaming at me.